Well, welcome to Paget's Awareness Day 2025. And the focus of Awareness Day this year is on the need for early diagnosis, picking up patients early, and ensure that if treatment is needed, it's given at an early stage. So today I have pleasure to welcome Anne Lamley, who has got Paget's. And she's going to be telling her about her journey, how the disease was diagnosed. So welcome, Anne.
Hi.
Now, Anne, I know that you were a participant in the ZIP trial, which was a study we undertook quite recently in people with a family history of Paget's. So could you just maybe tell us about your family history, who else was affected in the family, and what motivated you to take part in the ZIP study? Over to you.
Sure. I became aware of it when me mum told me to go for the blood test and contact yourselves. She became aware of it because she'd done the same thing and had the blood test. And this all came about because her brother had been diagnosed with Paget's. And that was a bit of a strange story because he had gone to his GP and he was absolutely convinced he'd got a brain tumour. He got chronic headache, and when he went into the doctor's office, the doctor did say to him, "Actually, I don't think it is. I think this is Paget, so let's test you." So he got tested, he's got it. My mum was tested, she's got it. She then told me and my brothers to get tested, and two of us did. I have it. My brother didn't have the gene when he was tested. Um, so all because I had it, well, it wouldn't have mattered if I hadn't had it. To be fair, I still would have gotten involved in the trial because if people don't get involved in medical research, how is anybody ever going to learn anything?
And thank you. Well, thank you for your story and thank you for your support about research because I quite agree with you. It is very, very important. Now, obviously in the ZIP study, there was a scan at the start and there were some blood tests, and then there was a scan at the end. And I mean, did you have any symptoms at that time, or was there anything that made you think you might have had it, or were you kind of symptom free?
Nothing. I started it in 2012 for the first 7 years, and there was nothing. Then we came to the end of that for the seven and had the extension for five, and still nothing at that point. But in that last 5 years, and I think it was about 2019, I started to get pain in the left elbow. And I've got to be honest, I blamed the dog. I thought it was the dog's fault because she pulls on the lead and blamed her. And then when I did actually mention it to my GP whilst I was there for something else, he said, "Oh, it'd be tennis elbow." So we never really twigged that it could have possibly been that. And it wasn't until I came for the last scan and they said, "Oh, actually, that could well be what it is."
You got it. Yeah, that's a great story about the dog, by the way. I really like that. Um, that's absolutely right. And I remember when we met in Edinburgh, I was looking at your scan and I thought, well, I think this is definitely Paget's. And the funny thing was, you had some what we call tracer uptake in that elbow at the start. But often people, when they get the injection for the scan, it shows that, and we kind of assumed wrongly that, oh, it's just the injection. But by the time you started to get pain, and by the third scan, then it was the penny dropped, and we obviously figured out what it was. So I remember discussing with you. Well, it looks like you got Paget's, and there would be a possibility of treatment, and I think you did have treatment. Can you tell us about your experience with that?
Yeah, it was the infusion up at Edinburgh that I had. It was literally, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Wasn't difficult, just sit there in a chair, chat to the clinicians. That was actually quite pleasant watching the tennis. And that was it.
Okay.
I was a little ill slightly the next day. Um, that came on quite suddenly. It built over about an hour, and I didn't feel very well. But I was told to expect that, so it was fine. It's one of those things when you know what it is that's wrong with you, you tend to deal with it better. But by the time I got back home down to sunny England, that had all cleared up, and I've had nothing since.
Great. And the elbow pain, has that got
Gone,
better? It's gone completely. Okay.
gone.
Wow. That's really great. Well, I mean, that's a good story. I mean, as I mentioned, when you were in the zip trial, you had the dummy treatment, so you did not have the active treatment. And so that's why it was recommended you have the infusion at the end. Well, and it's a really great story. Well, for me as a Paget researcher, good to have your endorsement for taking part in research, and good that it was picked up, and good that your symptoms have, completely gone away. So I appreciate that you taking the time out of your schedule to speak to us today, and I'm glad you're doing well. And good luck towards the future. The treatment lasts for years, by the way, so hopefully you'll remain pain-free for some time. Thank you again.
Hope so. Thank you very much.